Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call
Dutchess County, Mike Bukowski,
here.
Dave Violante, Joan Siebert, Kathy Tegmeyer, Jennifer Monzi, Kathy Grainer, Dee Sagendorf, Orange County, Joanne Cheney, Ben Cox,
Here.
Rebecca Stage, Andy Lamarca,
Here.
Kelly McCune,
Here.
Israel Knobloch, Frank Castanite, Dawn Marshall, Putnam County, Robert Cuomo,
Here.
David Jacobson,
Here.
yes, I got it right. Matthew Bondi, Rockland County, Kim Lippis, Nick Rosicki,
Here.
Michael Murphy, Desiree Leone here, Neil DeHaan,
Here.
Denise Garati, Ron Levy, Sullivan County, Ali Bachman,
Here.
Greg Tavermina,
Here.
Neil Mado,
Here.
Heidi Stack, Carrie Jarrah, Matt Goldsmith, Ulster County, Rich Parrish,
Here.
Gary Horowitz,
Here.
Rich Muller-Laley,
Pretty close. I don't feel so bad now. I always have trouble with that too.
Kelly Nelson,
Here.
fifteen.
What?
15.
16. Is anybody on their way?
I thought the new quorum was 12. No, we had that whole thing about changing the number. I'm pretty sure it's 12, because remember we went through that whole thing of changing the,
Rearrange
taking a
us.
delegate and adding an alternate, so we went from
Yes, you're
30 to
right.
24, so now the quorum is 12.
So 16 would be 12?
Yeah.
Sounds right. That's what I think I remember, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. We'll go with that.
12 or 12, 13, but it's still, we're
We're
over.
13 is
So
the quorum.
13 is the
12 is
quorum.
our-
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a quorum. Okay. Okay, I'd like to take a moment of silence for Kitty Rooney Koch. I know that she's passed on. Thank you. Okay, President's report. One of the things that I've been asked, and obviously most everybody got my email today. We're sending out for these meetings 4 and 5 sets of emails, and I'm preaching probably to the converted here because you guys are answering the emails, but your fellow county members are not. We need to get an answer back if they're not coming or if they are coming, because as of tonight we have an Article 30 action, so we had to make sure we had a quorum in order to take care of this action. So there is business that needs to be conducted and requires a quorum, so we need to make sure that we get that. So please bring it back to your counties, please bring it back to everybody to please answer the email, answer when Karen requests for feedback, so that we know whether we're gonna have the quorum, whether we're gonna have the people here at the meeting or not. So we would appreciate that. That is all I have on my report at the moment. The office report will pick up a lot of the other stuff that we have going on.
Point of order.
Okay.
Minutes approval.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's right there underneath the little note thing. Okay, could I get a motion on the minutes, previous minutes?
An amendment first.
Go ahead.
Page 27, line 12. It says lock zone. I believe that's supposed to be no lock zone. We've been working in the lock zone at a BLS level.
Any other corrections? Anybody else have any other corrections? I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Wait, who was that?
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, thanks, Rich, for bringing me back on track. Okay, treasurer's report? Not here.
I can fill that for him. Let me just find it.
Karen, is she the only one that came in late?
Yes.
Thank you. Called you out in front of me.
We can be up at the big table.
Sounds like Bob is trying to talk somebody into roll in.
Yeah, he's trying to go in directions.
Okay, our last meeting was in October. Since October, we've written 52 checks to the tune of $58,779, I'm sorry, to the tune of $102,911. We had $58,779 in deposit. 66,000 of those dollars of the 102 went to a payroll transfer, and 3,000 was a refund on an ALS update. The only outstanding is that we had some moving costs for moving into the building that was unanticipated or wasn't in the budget, but our moving costs were $1,200 for moving, and then about $2,000 to set up the office with everything that we needed as far as the network and equipment. That's about it right now. Does anybody have any question on the treasurer's report, or any other information that you would like?
Can I have a motion on the treasurer's report?
Move to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Okay, second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Footnote, the treasurer is on his way.
Okay.
That was him. He just couldn't find it.
Do we need a
He's
motion?
having trouble finding
Yep,
the place.
can I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, regional office staff report?
Okay, New York State, we are up to date. They have paid all of the vouchers that we've submitted, including the one that we for December, which we submitted at the end of January. It's already been paid. I think that's a record for them. We've also are up to date with the CIU class that we ran last quarter, so that's all been paid. The Bureau wants us to do a stroke QA/QI project that's talking about 3 different things, and it's going to be reviewing EMS performance of the stroke scale as part of the assessment, informing the hospital that we did it, and what the hospital reaction is to it. We're not exactly sure how that's going to work and how it's going to be done yet. We have a call starting on March 3rd, and that will be the topic of discussion for there. There's a new policy out from DOH, it's 1401, which is just put out in December, and it's EMS provider patient care restriction, which is what medical directors can do to restrict patient care, a provider from performing patient care, both at the ALS and the BLS level. It also addresses what the REMAC can do. So it's a guidance document that's been put out from one of the committees at the CMAC. We have a new contract as a council. We have a new contract coming in. Our contract is over in June. So we have a new contract that's coming in from the state, which will include a whole new set of deliverables. And I've been reviewing them with the other executive directors. We had several meetings over the last state meeting, and we have a counter proposal that we're putting back to the state with some changes in eliminating some of the ambiguities that they had in the contract as to, you know, that we had to support certain things plus others, and nobody could define what those others were. So we made a few changes and we submitted back to the state, and hopefully they'll come out with a good contract for us. We started our audit today. We had auditors running around the office all day today. Started at 8:30 this morning and left at 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's their first day. It was quite hectic, but everything was going well. They'll be back again next week, and then they'll do a final in probably about 2 weeks before they put their final paperwork together. And then we'll submit that to the state. think that's it.
Just one other thing under the regional office report. To the EMS coordinators that are in the room, tomorrow, there's gonna be an email that comes out to you guys in reference to, the regional approach. I've been trying to schedule the call on the EVD, to make sure, that we're all in compliance with it. The state's now requesting documentation of that. So we're going to, in lieu of scheduling the call, try to get an email out and get feedback from the coordinators on adoption of the regional approach for that, so that we can get the information back to the state. Bill will be working with me to get that out tomorrow, so, please respond to that email, and, this way we can get that information back to them.
What regional approach? They've made suggestions, but they have not come out with any, formal guidance or anything as what we should be doing regionally. I know in our area, Dr. Reber from Dutchess County has been very aggressive with it, but basically Dutchess is the only one that's really done anything to formalize it. You know, we've looked at it in Ulster County, but we haven't come up with a, yeah, if this happens, this is who we call type of thing. And this
Okay.
is the first thing I've heard about a regional approach to it.
Well, we've been going back and forth, with the, what committee we've been working with on that, has it been?
For
When we,
state.
yeah, when we started the whole process, when it came up.
You're talking about just for the Ebola side of it?
Yeah, the Ebola side of it.
Yeah, I think that was really, after the commissioner's orders, I think you were talking to some of the, county health officials in the conference calls. I don't remember a particular department, because
Okay.
we held a couple of meetings locally, and actually we tried to work with whatever counties we had. I know Dutchess, Orange, Ulster, I don't know what other committee there was.
Okay,
There was discussion of this at state council. Yeah, we have talked about it, and agree that there should be probably some regional planning, there was also some discussion that talks about like a strike team, in different counties. It might be a good concept, but also if we get overwhelmed, if it's taking away from us training providers underneath that level, both awareness and additional resources, then somehow that's gotta be included in there. Overwhelm the strike team, we're left defenseless without enough other units, so we'll be glad to share whatever we have if you need help on that.
yeah. Okay, then, what we'll probably end up having to do is, respond to the email and then set up a conference call and then probably put a tag together on it, because we do need to, make sure that all the counties are covered and that they have some type of plan. Somehow this has been added to our things, things to coordinate, I guess, at this point.
One thing we brought out to REMAC, to Dr. Murphy, and Dr. Stutt was there too, maybe either REMAC or the Remsco, foster some meetings with the county health departments, not as much our county EMS providers as well, but county health departments open up that dialogue, because that's where we had the disconnect. I don't know if REMAC, or I haven't talked to Pam if she's doing it or not.
Well, there was a push to do that when the Ebola hit the fan.
Yeah,
And there was that the phone conversations, the community phone conversations, where I was hoping the thrust would follow something that Dr. Reber has been doing, to make a region-wide plan. We haven't quite.
no, I know, and I think at our last REMAC, we just were asking the council or the REMAC to bring together in a separate meeting the departments of health from the
Right.
6 counties,
To
open dialogue,
coordinated
start the,
activities.
start the process of this. That would probably go hand in hand with what you're talking
What
about.
they're looking for, because one of the questions is, has your region adopted a regional response plan, and if so, provide the details. Is it county-based, regional-based, more than one region involved? So, yeah, we definitely need to do this, but unfortunately, they want an answer by Friday, February 13th. on this.
Like, I know the county health directors have been meeting, not meeting, but like phone conferencing, and we've got an email group going around about Ebola and the response and.
So, I guess we'll have to set up a conference call then and.
Have the county health
get the
department
emails.
directors all gotten together as a group?
Maybe not
We had a
physically, but I know
conference
they've had
call.
multiple conference calls.
Yeah, we've had
And
a couple
emails.
conference calls, I know Duchess, ours from Rockland, I thought Orange was on. I don't know if Ulster, it's been a while, I don't remember who else.
Yeah, I don't know if Putnam Bridge was on there.
It may have been
Maybe,
on.
yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is, we'll try to schedule something, get everybody together and answer this and try to get some plan worked out. I think the intention, based on the conversations that were going on, that we were having, was to try to take it to a more regional approach, so it was not a burden to any one county. And then this way, resources could be shifted when necessary to where it needed to go. So, we'll move forward with that and, we'll keep everybody in the loop on it. That's it for the office.
Mike, can I just ask a question? I was just at our division directors meeting for our local health department today, and I guess they're asking the health departments also as far as investigation and epidemiology with the EVD.
You
So
gotta
look at
slow
our
down
region-
for me, that's right.
Sorry,
As far as what?
the epidemiology and the investigation part of the Ebola, patients or suspected patients. They're asking them to look at it as a regional approach as well. But the issue is that there's an executive order that mandates each health department to be able to do certain things, every ambulance corps to be able to do certain things. So how could they expect us to now start planning on a regional level when there's still a legal document that requires every ambulance corps to be in compliance? They need to change the health commissioner's order so that then we can plan less
Good point.
to include a regional approach and
I-
take it out of the individual agencies.
Was this brought at the state, at the state
Oh, yeah,
council meeting?
pretty much we had a discussion at the state level, I brought it to the systems committee and then to the full state council, but, in essence, some of the decisions that counties made, or were making, were actually controverting the commissioner's order, which is not rescinded, and which Desiree's right. A lot of the complaints we heard for, they don't have a training or PPE was more at an awareness level, which would have been your same protection for bloodborne pathogens, and again, so if they're claiming they don't have this, then they mean that, to me, that means every day they go out there unprotected to deal with basic bloodborne pathogens. So, and that was made known, so the commissioner's order stands, it's not gonna be, Dr. Reber, I guess, from Duchess, tried to see if they would consider it, and apparently made herself a target, they're not gonna change that order. So the department did not, from what I understand, choose to pursue, outside of New York City, any service that wasn't compliant, but it remains in effect, so. I think we all agree, I was saying unenforceable, they can enforce whatever they want, I said it was unmanageable, I guess, maybe a bit short-sighted, but it's good medicine, too, so, we can't fly in the face of the fact that it remains, good medicine, which should be done, to prevent an outbreak. Like I said, if it ever had gotten here and escaped containment, we would have been in trouble. So, I think Desiree is right, we don't have the wherewithal to plan regionally to controvert anything in that commissioner's orders. I think best we can do is, go ahead and make some plans to share assets, I don't wanna say we can't address the other issue, but, hopefully now supply side's gotten better, a little bit, got a little breathing space, so maybe the people can go and get the PPE, do the training, I don't care if they don't get to the strike team level, I think that's where the regional plans will come in. Gotta be at the awareness level, and they're not, And beyond that, decisions made by certain counties allowed services to just step aside and say, I ain't dealing with that. I don't know, I might be wrong when we do our application for a service, I don't think we get the checkbox to say, we'll cover that now, Ebola, no, so, The only thing I would say is just caution, because Desiree's right. We can't adopt anything that controverts that order.
No, I agree with you, and I think though, from the EMS coordinator's perspective, I would hope that they have handles on those agencies that are not at that basic awareness level and, you know, are taking the steps. But certainly, I think that we need to be in a position to assist where we can, provide some guidance, and at the same time, when we get to that strike team level, be able to help coordinate that. And that's, I think, what the state may be looking for from this. It's
Yeah,
kind of very,
I think Lee Burns also identified the fact that in these cases, they're gonna allow those services that are designated regionally to expand outside of their normal service territory without any sort of penalty to help out. So if you're not certified in the county and they need you, they'll let you go.
okay. So we'll start continuing to work on that. Medical director's report.
Thank you. I'd like to make you all aware,
Dr. Scott.
I'm sorry. I'd like to make you all aware that in December, as a result of the work of the office staff of Bill and Jeff and Karen, the Hudson Valley Remsco became a community-based organization-approved facility that can now provide training and equipment and medication for nasal naloxone program. And Bill uses arranged that there's gonna be funding. I'm not sure where that funding is coming from, Bill.
AIDS Institute,
I'm sorry,
the AIDS Institute.
from AMFAR,
Mhm.
the American Foundation for AIDS Research is providing the medication and providing the naloxone kits. But I thought there was independent funding. Also, the funding is coming from AMFAR, not just the
Yes.
equipment, but actual
Right.
funding for that.
Yes.
The REMAC made it available to the members of the REMAC to become affiliated prescribers, and apparently most of the physicians on REMAC have agreed to do that, meaning that they can be the sponsoring physician for any police agencies and first responders that want to participate in the nasal naloxone program. From the small experience that I have with a few agencies, is every agency that's adopted it has had 2 or 3 saves in their first few weeks of putting it into practice. Rather dramatic.
So I want to add a little bit to that. We do have the naloxone in the office. We can, as long as you are a BLS, either FR or a BLS agency with an agency code, we can supply that to you. You need to fill out the paperwork to become a naloxone provider. So if there's agencies that aren't, or in your area, or here, that want to do it, and give us a call or take the paperwork off of the internet under Narcan, I believe it's under, or naloxone, one of the two. And fill out the paperwork, submit it to us. It's just a memorandum of understanding, your physician awareness, participation agreement, and we can give you naloxone kits for your ambulances.
Bill, what type of paperwork is in addition to what they have to do to apply to become a Narcan agency?
Nothing,
So once they've done that, then you can supply,
yes.
and you have those kits available now?
Yes, they do. And then, if they use them and they need more, they can request it as long as they submit their paperwork that they've used it. Or if there's an issue with it, something broken or, you know, is
That's for all
destroyed.
BLS, first responders.
First responders and BLS agencies and non-BLS first responders, including fire departments and police departments.
So do you have a template for the SOGs that a fire agency or rescue squad could use or follow?
Yes.
We can get that.
Yep.
Kelly, Rich Mollari put a whole packet together and that's out there.
Nick?
Just wondering if you have stats on how many are out in each county or not out, or
How many agencies?
how many agencies or how many sponsored kits or any,
We have 48 agencies in the region today out of 96, I believe is our BLS count. That's actually, the BLS FR is a little bit more, I think total is 192, if you count the BLS FRs in there. But we also have quite a few, police departments. I have a breakdown by county of which departments are using,
Yeah, I was
are
wondering.
available. But there's quite a few of them out there. And it's been fairly successful.
Bill, you said if we use it, you would replace it. What about if it expires?
Yes, you can send me expired, we'll replace it if you have it, that's expired. I don't know, right now, I think our stock is up until 16. So I don't know what, if you purchased it, I don't know what the expiration dates are.
We're up in 15. I think it was something.
Yeah. I don't know how long that's gonna last. Again, that's, funded, from the Department of Health. It's a program from the Department of Health funded by the AIDS Institute.
That's all for the medical drive stuff on the REMAC report.
Okay, if you wanna go right into that, we can.
Sure. Under the REMAC report, the collaborative protocols that the REMAC chose to join last year have been redesigned, some new policies and procedures, new protocols, and it's all been approved at CMAC. And our goal is to have all of the agencies in Hudson Valley region to be up to date as of March 15th. All must be compliant with all the meds, procedures, and teaching to all of their staff, as well as testing to all their staff. We had a test format provided to us by Northern Dutchess paramedics that seemed to satisfy all members of the REMAC and of the protocol committee. And as of March 15th, will be operational for the 2015 collaborative rollouts and the current changes.
Just,
Any questions, Andy?
well, just that Dr. Daly's presentations through Albany Med's video
Yeah,
is how we're gonna suggest that they,
the training program.
all uptake.
Right.
But by the end of the week, I hope to have a memo out that will have a link to the original memo that came out that defines what the differences are, a link to his video and to what we expected to have done. It's just been a hectic week, and we lost the day.
Only thing, and I'm not sure, but on the pharmaceutical side, I think the Levofed is,
The what?
Levofed, the drug, is already in short supply and may be out. So I don't know if all agencies are gonna be able to stock.
Well, we've gone through this in the past with other medications, and the state has told us that if it's not possible to get it, there's no penalty for not carrying
Right.
it. So I'd imagine that would apply, it applied to us in the past with controlled substances that we couldn't get access to. And I'd imagine that same policy would hold true
Yeah,
for any other medications that.
I just think operationally, I have to stick with the dopamine, right?
Sure.
In that case, if they don't have the Levofed,
Yeah,
We're really trying to
that's-
replace-
That's our previous choice, and
what else we're
Yes.
gonna have as far as,
no other pressors. No other pressor agents. It's for blood pressure support. Then you have Levofed, as was dopamine was in the past, but probably less impressive for kind of performance than Levofed. Also less dangerous.
I don't know. Flashbacks.
Okay, again, I thought that was gonna be the Kim's, but I'm happy to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
In the November REMAC, there's a tag that was put together to review the application of the Town of Wallkill Volunteer Ambulance Corps to become ALS. That began earlier last summer. The tag met several times throughout the summer and fall, and remediation was done on our plan. We had to go back and forth with the Town of Wallkill. They were cooperative with us in terms of meeting all the state requirements, and we presented it to the November 3rd REMAC, and it was unanimously approved that we would accept Town of Wallkill as an ALS agency. And perhaps Bill,
And then we'll do an update under transportation on that, just for everybody, but I
Bill,
wanted
do you have any status report on them as of now?
Well, at this point in time, it's been approved by the MAC. It's just really a notification that for the people in the room, that will be an ALS agency very shortly. They have their controlled substance license, they have been approved by the state, they have been inspected, so everything is moving along. I believe probably within the next couple of weeks, they will be at an ALS level, and they will be providing service at an ALS level.
Any questions for Remac or the medical director? Okay. Training committee, Dave's not here. Andy or Rich, do you guys have, were there any meetings or?
No, I think the next meeting is the 17th, right?
24th to the 24th.
Okay. Okay, transportation. Okay, under transportation, we just notified you on the ALS upgrade for, town of Wallkill. We have, this is the Article 30 action, which is Watchtower Bible and Track Society new ambulance. Bill, you wanna give us background on this and?
Okay. In Tuxedo, New York, which is in Lower Orange County, Watchtower has been building a world headquarters. They have two sites there. They will have probably upwards of 1,000 people on site when it's finished, and they are requesting an ambulance certificate to operate on premises. They do this in 2 other areas in our region, one in the town of Wallkill,
No,
in the
Hamlet Walker.
hamlet of Wallkill, and the other one in Patterson. So they're asking for the same type of thing. We talked to New York State and asked if they should just get a expansion of their territory or get a new CON. They suggested a new CON for this territory. They've been through the process. They submitted their application. They've been through the fitness and competency at New York State. We've had a public hearing. Several of the agencies in the area that support that now, including Greenwood Lake, M-Star, and I can't remember the other agency that was there. Woodbury? No?
Warwick?
Warwick, I think it was, yes. Came and spoke. The members from Watchtower came and spoke. Everybody was in support of it. And Kim was there, and the Transportation Committee was in support of the issuing of the CON. We had a hearing judge there, Martin Cohen. He has sent us a report of his findings, is also in the affirmative. And I'll just read the last sentences rather than the whole thing. It says, based upon above findings, I recommend approval of the application. I find further that there is a public need for a permanent certificate permitting the service to cover the requested area, and that the applicant has both the means and the personnel to service this area. There was no apparent opposition to this. So it's brought forward as a seconded motion from the Transportation Committee that we accept this as a CON for Watchtower.
As this is an Article 30 action, we're going to need a roll call vote.
Can I just ask who stepped in after I did the initial roll call? I got Bernice, I'm sorry. What's your name?
Sarah Fraser. She's not part, no.
Okay, okay, so no one
No other
else,
delegates.
okay.
No.
All right, Dutchess County, Mike Kukowski.
Yes.
Orange County, Ben Kumps.
Yes.
Andy LaMarca.
Yes.
Kelly McCune.
Yes.
Putnam County, Robert Como.
Yes.
David Jacobson.
Yes.
Rockland County, Nick Rosicki.
Yes.
Desiree Leone, yes. Neil DeHaan.
Yes.
Bernice.
Yes.
Sullivan County, Albie Bachman.
Yes.
Greg Tavermina.
Yes.
Neil Mado.
Yes.
Ulster County, Rich Parrish.
Yes.
Gary Horowitz.
Yes.
Kelly Nelson.
Yes.
Sixteen yeses, 0 no's.
forward it to the state for the vote. Okay. Public education and information.
No report. The only thing I would like to encourage all the counties, maybe we can, years ago, when I first took that position, collected all of the media information from all of the counties.
I'm sorry, say that?
All of the media information from the different counties, you know, like newspapers, local media, and nothing really ever happened with it, but like, we just became a Narcan distribution, whatever it's called. That's something that's kinda newsworthy, I think. I mean, everybody else might bring attention to the office and the politicians, so we have the support and they know who we are when we're asking for support for increased funding or to not abolish the region or whatever we need support with. So maybe if people can send me information for their counties, I obviously can take care of Rockland, but as far as the other counties.
Newspapers, radio stations.
Yeah, and I can compile a list, we can maybe set up a blast fax and send out things periodically. Just my-
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And considering we are asking for a budget increase that we haven't had in umpteen years, it would be a good time to, get that out there. So, okay, policies and procedures, Greg?
I'm still going, have an ongoing review of our present policies and procedures, and also within the next 6 months, we're gonna be working on a records retention policy.
Okay. Legislative and bylaws, Mr. Bach.
Sir, we have tonight to vote on a proposed bylaw addition. Would you like to do that at this time or wait for new business?
Nope, we can do it now.
Okay. This is a proposed bylaw addition to Article 4, which is committees. Presently, Section 1, Executive Committee, reads as follows. The Executive Committee shall consist of the following members: the elected council officers, chairpersons of all standing committees, the council's delegate to the New York State EMS Council. Each county council should have representation on the executive committee. Tonight, we're going to vote the addition of the Hudson Valley Regional EMS Council Medical Director and the departing council president for a period of 1 year. Respectfully submitted, me.
Okay, any questions, commentary, issues? Okay, again, as this is a bylaw change, requires a roll call vote.
Dutchess County, Mike Wachowski.
Yes.
Orange County, Ben Cox.
Yes.
Andy Lamarca.
Yep.
Kelly McHugh.
Yes.
Putnam County, Robert Cuomo.
Yes.
David Jacobson.
Yes.
Rockland County, Nick Wosicki.
Yes.
Desiree Leone, yes. Neil DeHaan.
Yes.
Bernice Garati.
Yes.
Sullivan County, Albie Bachman.
Yes.
Greg Tavermina.
Yes.
Neil Mado.
Yes.
Ulster County, Rich Parrish.
Yes.
Gary Harwitz.
Yes.
Kelly Nelson.
Yes.
16 yeses, 0 nos.
Okay, bylaws. Thank you, Albie, appreciate your work and diligence on getting that done for us.
But I'm not done.
Oh, you got more? Yes, you are.
I'm in Victor Work's shoes, and you know how he did this. I'd just like to update you on some legislative things of interest. As you know, we've been pushing diligently over the last several years on the ability of advanced EMTs to transport blood products. We have heard over time that it is in the hands of the Department of Health where it originates, but they are still just dragging their feet. I sat down with our assemblywoman from Sullivan County. She has, and I have in my possession, the actual bill that would push the Department of Health, hopefully, to get them off their sluggish feet. It was referred to the Health Committee on January 8th of 2015. We're all familiar with what that bill says. Next thing of interest.
Just point of order.
Absolutely.
That is already in front of the commission for signature.
It's been there.
No, it just came out of the commentary period and then went to the commission.
Praise the Lord.
That was
You
reported.
don't have to put that in.
That was reported statement.
Okay, that's good news. That is good news. Next, something of interest is that, sponsored by Assemblyperson Cahill, surprisingly, provides for toll exemption for certain ambulance services. They changed the language. It just said ambulance inside the present statute. What they did was change the language to include ambulance services, fire agencies, and other agencies that are performing emergency services at the time. That was submitted to the Transportation Committee on January 12th of this new year. So we'll watch that. But something even more importantly, and I like this one a lot, and it affects those volunteer and commercial services that bill. And that is, as we know, if we respond to a motor vehicle accident and the individual is intoxicated, we will not get reimbursed for that call. This bill, submitted by, it's a multi-sponsored bill, there are several, and right now it's in the Assembly, has not gone to the Senate, it has been referred to the Transportation Committee on January 12th of this year. It relates to the reimbursement of costs incurred by emergency services as a result of driving while intoxicated. When the person is convicted and disposition is rendered, that the judge may impose fees upon that person to reimburse those involved in emergency services. So these three I'm gonna watch. There are others, I'll give to you another time, but these perk my interest, and although I'm not a big fan of political action committees, because I don't like bribing our people to get things done that need to be done, it's important that we, as representatives of our counties, stay on top of your legislators in your district. These are good bills for us, we need to get movement, and the more that you talk to them and favor what the bills are that are submitted, the more that it'll get before them for movement. With that, I am now done, sir.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
Mr. President, can I just add one other thing that I didn't get a chance to, Aileen's working on the bill for us. Yeah, most people remember last year, the state signed off on allowing fire departments to do background checks for sexual offenses for members. Well, they kind of left out volunteer ambulance corps are not fire-based related. So there's a bill being drafted right now that's being co-sponsored by our Assembly person, Aileen Gunther, to include non-fire related volunteer ambulance services to do background checks for sex offenders.
And I'll stay on her with
Makes
that.
logical. Great. Okay, Stadium as council, Rich or Andy, can you guys?
I got pulled out, I couldn't stay.
Well, again, there was a couple of things that came up relative to protocols and the collaboratives, and also for a change now in how we could modify our protocols or add to our protocols if we see another region has had their protocol approved by CMAC, then Remsco, and we would like to use that same protocol in its entirety here. The region just has to have consensus, send a letter up to the state, and they will allow us to use that protocol as well. Just happened with New York City putting in for standing orders from Medaslam, with their emergency service unit, and for psychiatric, cases where time is of the essence. So in the future, that will help a bit to speed up the protocols. A lot of discussion also took place about no longer using backboards. I think we can shorten it down to that. A lot of dialogue, a lot of discussion back and forth across the table, and some areas are, and not necessarily in the state, calling themselves backboard-free zones, where they're not even using backboards anymore. So pretty much general consensus was that if you really take a look at the research and the evidence-based medicine that we're looking at right now, backboards in many cases are harmful, not beneficial, that again, use of a cervical collar might be all that's warranted, and that includes standing takedowns and rapid extrications. So the state knows that they have to probably generate a little bit more information to the providers but there's a lot of reticence from the provider's standpoint to not backboard somebody. And quite honestly, in the thousands of EMT courses that have gone on across this state, I can tell you how some good and some bad and some have taught different ways, but I gotta guarantee you that every single one of them preached the fear of God into anybody who did not put somebody on a backboard if they even whiff of an injury. So it's gonna take a while to undo, and they're gonna try to approach it from the hospital side too. So you do roll your patient in with a collar, no backboard, that the nurse of course room's not yelling, you, where was the backboard? So they already know that, they're gonna work on that as well. See, you'll see a little bit more, but quite honestly, right now, CMAC has already passed a advisory, in essence saying that no service or no individual can be held, I don't say held harmless, but you cannot be held at fault if you do not backboard somebody. So, looks like the swing is going the other way. Backboards are to be a transportation device, not an immobilization device. If you haven't thrown out your scoop stretcher, bring it out of the closet. Looks like it's back in, you know?
It's getting a little old and corroded, but looking, yeah.
Yes, they're aluminum, unless you bought that real Japanese version. Again, going through it, there were some reports from Education Committee on the status of exams, and that had some good months and some not so good months on the state exam. Certainly the CME program has picked up far more participants. Along with that, far more concerns about the fact that a lot of people are being signed off by CICs that aren't looking at the curriculum, that when they actually audit it, does it meet the requirements to be recertified with the CME program. So better pay attention to the detail, because you can be audited for that, and you can, and they have stripped people of certification because they have not had the required hours. So just, pay attention to that. And the program is supposed to be overseen by a CIC. And there should be a CIC dedicated to the program, and not just so you go to an in-service, run around with your certificate in hand, try to find somebody who's a CIC to sign you. That should be it. So documentation, look at that, and I talk about Ebola, certainly the preparedness or lack of same, a lot of jousting at the commissioner's orders, but that's, as I said, not changing. Those are the most significant issues I think that came up.
Then just add to one of them, there was a pilot project on CPAP on the BLS side.
Oh, yeah.
And that did pass through medical standards. I don't have a note if it passed through REMAC. I believe it did. But,
I see that, yeah.
CMAC.
I'm pretty sure it did, I think, because it was one of the, they couldn't get them up on the screen, but it was one of the resolutions that passed.
Yeah.
In essence, anything medical standards does, it's mostly CMAC, and I don't know why we don't combine the two and just knock it off at once.
The other thing that was a new pilot project created by Nassau County, Suffolk County, where they're gonna use supraglottic airways for BLS skill. So we'll be seeing some results on that. I don't know if that's gonna work or not.
Just in cardiac arrest.
Just in a cardiac
With
arrest,
two
and they have
providers.
to have waveform capnography with it.
They have to have what?
Waveform capnography. There was also a hemorrhage control tag that's being
Yeah,
created.
I don't think they reported much yet, though.
No, they just
Yeah.
created it to look at some of the new hemorrhage control devices that are out there.
And packing of the,
Yeah,
Right.
packing up. The other thing was CIC and CLI certification test might be coming down the road, something to think about. That instead of just getting an 80 on your, or an 85 on your EMT test, it might have to be a separate test that you would take. And they're also looking to revamp
regional faculty. The pharma's out.
Yep.
Okay, old business, Rich, mutual aid tag?
That is dead on arrival. Nobody wants to get involved in it. I send out emails, I don't get any responses back. The only one that did anything would be Kim in Rockland, but everybody else, there's been no responses on it.
Rich, is that just going to the EMS coordinators? Because I asked to be on that too, and everyone
the stuff that I haven't sent one out lately, but I thought I had you on there,
No.
Andy.
I mean,
Like,
we're overdue. I mean, I chair the committee that redid the states in the choice, so I'd like to make sure our region at least compliant.
the responses, and it goes back, the same thing with Ebola responses. You go out looking for this information, and nobody gets back to you.
Well,
There's
why don't we
packets
wrap
out
it
there
into the
for,
Ebola thing, 'cause we're gonna have them as a captive audience anyway.
Yeah.
Why don't we wrap it into the Ebola thing, cause we're gonna have them, everybody as a captive audience at that, on the call, remind them of
for
that.
the EMS coordinators.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause we're gonna have them there, so at least we can get, remind everybody and then stay on top of it. Okay, so we'll wrap that in. Expired delegates and alternates, I have a letter. From Sullivan County, please continue our present Sullivan County delegates to the Hudson Valley Regional EMS Council for the next 4 years. Albie Bachman, Heidi Stack, Neil Madan. Thank you for your time, look forward to the meeting. So, an entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Who was that? Greg?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, is there anybody else, or is that's it? Okay. Okay, new business, the 2015 collaborative protocol, we need to vote on that? Is that-
I don't think so.
No, it's just, it's
Okay.
information.
It's just here, okay.
Just
it's just
information like that.
That's really not an issue anyway.
Okay. With Kitty passing, we now need a new nominating chair. Is anybody interested in taking on nomination? You'll do it, Kelly? Great.
You know, it's a 20-year hitch, you know that. We left that out.
That's about
Hey,
right,
listen,
You get too much
I
character.
get $1 a year for 20 years?
You get to pick the future of this organization. That's what Kitty had to do.
Ooh.
okay, so Kelly Nelson, welcome, welcome as the new nominating chair. Okay, there was a email that was sent out, for EPCR tag. We got, I think, one response. Can, what we're looking to do, just so everybody's aware, we are looking to get a tag together, to go region-wide with EPCR, being able to offer it out at little to no charge to all of the agencies, including hardware and software. But we need a group to get together on this because we have found some funding sources, but we need to start planning it out. I'm sorry?
Can I have funding?
So we're you wanna change your system over?
For
But we're,
50 tablets, I'm like.
we are looking to try to do that region-wide, but we're gonna need participation from everybody in the region on this, so, yes,
Count me in.
okay.
Bob?
Can you, put out the email again, and we'll try to get a tag together?
Kimmy's definitely interested also.
Okay, I'm going to initially, chair it, but then I'm going to quickly turn that over to somebody else, so I'll chair the first meeting of the tag, and then we'll get a
You
chairperson.
got my response.
Yes, I believe
I
so.
think I'm the only one
Yeah, I
that
think you're
responded.
one of the ones that responded, so. Okay, 2015 Hudson Valley Remsco Annual Awards, it's already that time again. We need to get those out, are they on the website? Are we getting out, sending out packages?
No, we use the state package,
Okay,
so the descriptions are there, and the application is already available on the state website.
when are they due back to us? For us?
I would say May 1st would be okay.
I don't know.
They do it the state June 1st, so everything has to be completed June 1st. So we could do May 1st, We take it, we give us a couple of weeks to evaluate them, and then submit them to the state. Usually that, the evaluation is done at the committee level.
Okay. So, we're gonna need an awards, do we have an awards committee?
Need a review panel,
We have some type of review on it, so we're gonna need to, have an awards committee, and then, I would say yes, the drop dead date, May 1st, to get the awards back to us so that we can have a time for that committee to review it and get it moved on to the state for, nomination out of the region.
That doesn't mean you have to send all of those papers in on May 1st. You can send them in